Hi everybody, it's Felix again, and I hate Harlow Button. For the record, that's just a joke. We all love Harlow, except me. Listen, you can't go first because nobody is ready to laugh, and you can't go last because there's nobody here. For the one person still here, hi, I'm Felix, and I like complaining about my position in stand-up comedy shows. How unfortunate. For those of you who don't know me, I like to tell stories that embarrass me every time I'm up here. It just gets worse and worse every time. I also talk a lot about schlongers. Oh, and by the way, if this set fails, I'm going to be pursuing my new career as a bodybuilder, so I really hope this works out. I hate driving, man. It's the ultimate trust activity. You really gotta trust that nobody wants to reenact Fast and Furious in their 2004 Subaru. I have a lot of bad habits when I drive. I'd drive off a freaking cliff if Google Maps told me to. That's route optimization. One time the road I took to school closed down and my phone was dead, so I just parked on the side of the road and was like, well, I guess I'm not going to school today. Imagine being like in the 70s, you'd have to pull out this big ass map and be like, yes, okay, I just had to take a left on 10 Chungus Lane 5 miles ago. My bad, let's do some more LSD. Whenever I'm on a one-lane back road, I like to be 5 miles under just to be extra safe. It makes the people behind me extra mad. You know how they have like those—
Caution, student driver. They gotta have one for me. Caution, Felix. Look, it's just really bad, alright? Does anybody get really bad temptations when they drive? Look, I see that fucking ramp and I'm like, I could jump that if I felt like it. It's just a lot of responsibility, okay? I'm controlling a 1,000-ton death machine, and I do stand-up comedy. Do you think I'm responsible? You know what I'm scared of? Highways, because you go fast, and I don't like fast. So I was planning to meet up with my friends from Monks, and I had to go on a highway, and I just called them yeah, sorry, can't go, highway, bye. So, that was a great excuse. Another time I was driving and the police got called on me because there was apparently a drunk driver recklessly driving. And it turned out the person who called that was my friend right behind me who was very concerned. And this is something because this friend once drove into a ditch as a joke. So that really tells you something about how bad it was. God damn it. No, we're all good here, man. Okay, I'm a very selective person when it comes to where I want to piss, okay? I like to take my business to the finest establishments. Only a 4.5 star and above restrooms on Yelp for me. But, I know how to use common sense. So, if I'm really bad and I really gotta go, I'll settle for a 4-star. I've had opportunities where I had to use public restrooms and I just be on the side of the road because I'm just like, it's not worth it. Okay, if you guys know in Asian countries they use squat toilets, and if you don't know what a squat toilet is, you squat. And that's why I haven't been back there in a decade. There's one time in Beijing where I nearly shit my pants because I was looking around for an hour for a single Western-style toilet, and this is why my parents consider me white. Sometimes I think that I find it really funny that sometimes I care more about how the shit comes out than what actually comes into my body. I'll eat anything, fine. Garbage, sure. But oh no, can't poop in a bad bathroom. No. Does anybody think about how weird it is that people just ask for toilet paper? Man, I'm not touching that hand of yours. I'm not touching that hand of yours. And for all the urinal users out there in the crowd, I really appreciate there's always a puddle of pee just 10 feet away from the urinal. And I think that's really interesting because that's just not bad aim. Bad aim is something, but that's just completely off the mark. Come on, I just want to talk to this guy. Hey, how does this happen, man? You're that far off? Okay, so one time I went to writing camp, okay, and it changed my life for the worse. Okay, and what I mean by that is I don't even like writing. My mom just made me do it because she thought it would improve my 13-year-old resume. I don't know, man. She wanted me to be an engineer. Why'd you pay $500 for me to write slam poetry? The best part about it is that you couldn't get grades, so I could just write whatever I wanted. I wrote a ballad to Sonic the Hedgehog, and the teacher was like, interesting syntax there. And there's a lot of people who thought they were really deep there, okay? There's this one person, they're like, hey, what's your poem about? It's about blood. Hope they're doing well. That's Poet Laureate of the United States. My mom actually came to pick me up on the last day. It's like, Felix, what'd you learn in writing camp? I'm like, you can play Super Mario Brothers on the lab computers. I didn't go to writing camp after that one. My bedtime routine is great because, my morning routine, it only takes 5 minutes to do because my bedtime routine ends so late that I actually have time to start my morning routine instantly. I actually operate on a different scale of time. I call it Felix time, which means 5 minutes is an hour, and an hour is right now. Listen, I gotta spend that time brushing each individual tooth, because 9 out of 10 dentists can't be wrong. Listen, I was so down bad at one point, I was wearing Bath and Body Works hand sanitizer to simulate having a significant other. Look, okay, at this point it's a very expensive addiction. You don't get how expensive that stuff is. Have you ever woken up at 4 a.m. and they're like, man, I really want water. And you go to get water and you're actually not thirsty at all? It's the second worst feeling besides looking at the ceiling, realizing how cool your ceiling pattern is. Yeah, it happens. My circadian rhythm is one of a kind, and by that I mean if it was an actual rhythm, it would be fucking free jazz. It's free jazz in the sense that I'm just making it up as I go along. Dude, I'm sorry, man. This happens. Okay, so listen, I take massive L's all the time, okay? But yesterday was one of the biggest L's of my life. So I woke up, I ran to the bus, I realized I forgot my phone, I crashed back into the apartment door, I pay $100 in fines now, and I get back on the bus to realize I'm wearing a filthy fucking shirt that I wore during the night, and the person next to me is looking at me like, yeah, that's an interesting shirt you got there. So after that I have to run back, and I'm just in such pain, okay? Sometimes it's good to forget things though, and by that I mean one time I forgot a water bottle I was with me, and it was okay because it was laced with Viagra. Oh. Yeah, my teammates decided to lace my fucking water bottle with Viagra, which would have led to me either having the best race of my life or by far the worst. Well, look, I just think that's just incredible. You know how hard swimming with a boner is? God, that is so hard. I hope they had escalated it further and they're just like, what if we just put cyanide in his water? That would be really funny. Whatever, I don't even need the Viagra.